Christian Jack alongside my co-hosts here, Jordan Wilson, Charlie O'Connor-Clark, Mitchell Tinney, and Gareth Wheeler. We've heard all the jokes about the boy band. I'm going to take you guys in one direction only. And we have to talk about this Cavalry press conference that we just had. We are here at Tim Hortons Field ahead of the big game on Saturday night. Gareth, let me turn to you first. Tommy Wheeldon Jr. began the press conference with some very, very interesting words, almost playing off as if they've accomplished what they need to accomplish already, almost playing on the fact that they're the underdogs. What did you make of the words, and maybe explain some of the things you heard?
Well, he was in sync with his players as well, KJ, because this apparently is the mentality or the thought process they're trying to put out to the public, that this championship final here is just a bonus for them. That the regular season was their priority, that's what they were focused on, and that this game right here to beat Forge will be a tall order. I'm just simply not buying it, guys. They ran away with the regular season title. They won by 13 points. This team that struggled with injuries and maybe not being up to snuff just in terms of the overall quality of players, this team doesn't have problems with any of that. This is a truly great Canadian Premier League side, and just to chalk this down as a potential bonus, the icing on the cake for a team like this, I just wonder why Tommy Wheeldon Jr. is saying this. Perhaps he is reading the room and thinking that his players might thrive better in a low stress, take the pressure off them type environment, but this simply can't be the case. It's not just that, Mitch, like the potential to go out and be the first team to win a double. They're playing Forge, their biggest rival in the Canadian Premier League as well. So I'm calling out his bluff here. I just don't buy it.
Yeah, exactly. This year is all about changing the narrative for Cavalry Football Club, and there's nothing they could do more so to change the narrative than go out and beat Forge in a playoff final. You know, two things they haven't done, beating them in the postseason or certainly winning a final against them. So I think that realistically, you know, they still have massive goals tomorrow in this match, and you know, this was maybe just I guess just getting us talking ahead of the game.
Gamesmanship. Mind games here.
Maybe
it has to be.
what
This
it
just can't be the case.
And maybe. Charlie, what did you make of it? Like Gareth said, like this is a team that is going for a double. Marco Carducci even said it, you know, to be the first team to win a double would be an incredible achievement. Yet here we are hearing the coach play it off a little bit. What did you hear?
I get it. I understand why Tommy would say something like that, because you're trying to put the pressure on Forge, and I think in a way they will feel the pressures on Forge, because Cavalry have already won something this year, and they, no matter what happens tomorrow, will feel like the season is a success. But I think that there is kind of those past playoff games against Forge where maybe the nerves got to them a little bit, and I think maybe this is supposed to be a way of taking those off a little bit. Obviously here at Tim Hortons Field, it'll be quite the atmosphere, it'll be under the lights, and sometimes that hasn't been Cavalry's best situation in this league, but I mean, we all saw that trophy unveiled last night. That doesn't look like a bonus to me.
No, it's not a bonus.
I think that there's a lot of people in this room, they're right behind us, that would very, very, very much like to lift that tomorrow.
Jordan, as a player, when you hear your coach say that, what are you thinking?
It's a ruse. Let's call a spade, okay? Tommy Wheeldon Jr. is saying, oh, it's a bonus. It is not a bonus, okay? Everyone, Wheel said it, Mitch said it, you've said it, Charlie has said it as well. This is what you do. You take the pressure off your players. You say one thing to the media. You say another thing to your troops. They are going tomorrow for blood. They seem relaxed, but inside, they're like, we want to win the double because now we're the big brother, we're the king of the hill. They're not going in saying this is a bonus. This is a championship they're playing for. I think they're going out there tomorrow. He's just giving us and playing this little story. And you see this, managers do it all the time. Mourinho's done it, Alex Ferguson. Like, everyone has done it where you're like, oh, put the pressure on me, follow the words and follow the way that I'm going about it, and then say a little bit different in the locker room. I could bet my bottom dollar, Tommy Wheeldon Jr. is going to be the first one tomorrow rounding up that team and getting them going. There's no way this is a bonus.
Tommy's also an Everton fan, so he knows how hard it is to win trophies.
But this is the thing now. We are currently talking about what their manager said in the press conference and not the last game they played against Forge where they lost.
Right.
For sure.
100%.
Okay, so let's talk about the opponent and their press conference. They have obviously beaten Cavalry every time in the playoff games. They know how to win this. They're in their fifth final in a year, within 5 years. What I thought was interesting in the press conference came from their captain, Carl Becker, when he said, if a couple of our players find that right mentality, they can be the difference maker when we asked. So if they are a couple of players that he's looking at, who can be those kind of players? We all know who's been there from the start, but it almost seemed like Carl Becker was asking a few players to say, come on with us, you can be there, we need you in this. Did you get that kind of vibe?
Yeah, I got that vibe as well, and I think it's not from the core. I think it's the Benny Bedabangas. I think it's he mentioned Terran Campbell. I think it's those guys. If they can give 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 tomorrow, I feel like he thinks that Forge will be victors.
Gareth, what did you think of that?
Yeah, a little bit of that. first of all, Bobby's so comfortable in these atmospheres right now. He's used to being at a press conference in a final. His growth over 5 years, it's not just his beard, just as a presenter, sharing his ideas. He's next level now. And the one thing he said, and it echoes the sentiment that Jordan Wilson said in studio all season long, Forge has just been stuck in second or third gear. And Bobby said it. We've been in third gear. They need to hit fifth gear to beat a team like Cavalry back-to-back times and in a cup final. Are they capable of that? In the past, a lot of this comes down to history in terms of the sentiment heading into this game. The former Forge sides, yes, you'd be confident that they're going to show up. But I think this team, this season, and the inconsistencies they've shown, that's Bobby reminding them that we need your absolute best. We cannot coast through this final. We're meeting a team that's probably their most difficult finals opponent, I would say, since 2019 when they played Cavalry. 2021, I mean, the travel from Honduras, there was a lot of different variables there. But this truly is best on best, and Mitch, he simply needs the best out of his side come tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the last time I was here on this pitch, I was talking to Alex Ashnodi-Janssen, who was bemoaning a pass he played up the middle that led to Atletico Ottawa, a team who had nothing to play for, beating them in the final match of the season. Right. And quite frankly, a game that could have put them in much worse shape than they are in right now. So I think that's what they're really going to be looking for. They really need that 90-minute performance at home, and it's not something they've gotten enough this season. So like you said, they need to be in that fifth gear if they're going to do anything tomorrow.
Charlie, do you believe they can get from second to fifth here on this pitch?
Of course they absolutely can, and we've seen them do it so many times. That's another thing that Kyle Becker and Bobby said in their press conference, was that when it has really mattered most of the time, more often than not, even this year, they have found it. Just to go back quickly to the difference makers, it's not a secret anymore that they'll be without one. Wubens Passius is not playing tomorrow. So maybe that's kind of what Kyle is getting at there. They need players like Baddy Banga, like Taryn Campbell, who maybe has had ups and downs this year. Somebody needs to grab this game by the throat and score that goal that they're going to need, because it's going to be very close.
I don't know how you feel, KJ, but you look at the Forge players coming into the press conference, very serious. Look at the Cavalry players.
That's what this team's always
very
like.
Happy and like jovial. And I'm just like, man, this is not what's going to play out tomorrow. I think it's going to be a bloodbath, Wheel.
I just think the ultimate X factor in this game, David Chouanier, we thought he was done for the year, came back on and played 2 weeks ago in Cavalry. Looked like he hadn't missed a beat. There has to be some kind of temptation to play a player that stepped up in big moments before. From the start in this game, will Bobby resist the temptation? He'll be available to come off the bench. We'll see how he utilizes that really beneficial situation, a potential match winner.
Wow, the storylines just keep writing themselves. We thank the coaches for that on Friday here at Tim Hortons Field. The 26th matchup between these teams. 23 of the previous 25 have been decided by one goal or less. Does that mean penalties? We'll see. Join us here as early as 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific, live on OneSoccer. The boys will be all over it. OneSoccer.ca, CanPL.ca, ready for a Canadian Premier League final.